Okay, so welcome to Tumbleweed Tuesday. We made it through the season, and here we are again. Oh, wow, this woman is reading an issue of Social. Is that Social Life magazine you have there? Hi, sorry?
I was just curious what you're up to.
Oh, I'm recording a podcast with Shane, the owner of the cafe.
With who?
With Shane, the owner of the cafe.
Oh, super cool.
Yeah. It's our final episode of the season, little Tumbleweed Tuesday summer recap.
Okay.
If he ever gets here. I don't know. This is sort of his MO. He likes to keep me waiting.
Gotcha.
I'm the co-host and producer. Wow, feels like old times. We haven't recorded live in about maybe 6 weeks. Yeah, I mean, so basically, those of you who are listening are, dozens and dozens of listeners. We recorded the majority of our interviews in the spring before the high season began, and then we were airing those every Thursday. And then we sort of ran out of material, to be frank. Like, we just didn't have enough content to continue editing and releasing episodes. And it was just too crazy and crowded and busy at the cafe for us to even attempt to record. That's why we did the Sagtown Summer Tour, which took us to Dragon Hemp and then Cluckman's. And then, the second half of August, we were both just underwater. I was so busy at Tudo, and he was so busy. Well, he wasn't here because I didn't see him here very much. He was, I guess he was at surf camp. He was designing his new home. He was gallivanting back and forth to the city. He was out and about at white parties and purple parties and blue parties, and he ate at Tudo a few nights. So it seems like Shane had a really nice, balanced work-play summer, whereas I was just working around the clock. So that's why I kind of had to take a step back from the podcast. But we're going to get together today, recap, shoot the shit, and we'll see if any interesting guests show up. And then we're going to take another hiatus.
Oh, is that Felice?
I just saw another middle-aged, tattooed man walk down the stairs. I thought it might be Felice. So then we're going to take a hiatus, and we're going to come back stronger than ever this fall, hopefully timed with the premiere of my film at the Hamptons International Film Festival. Yep, very exciting news to finally announce my film is an official selection of the Hamptons International Film Festival, which runs this year in October from the 4th through the 14th. And my film is going to be screening, having its world premiere on Thursday, October 10th at 8 p.m. You can purchase tickets on September 23rd at hamptonsfilm.com. And the film is called The Premiere. It's a mockumentary that was filmed entirely in Sag Harbor, and it's a satirical, offbeat comedy inspired by some cringe comedy classics like Best in Show and Waiting for Guffman. It has that feel. And it really is a love letter to the Hamptons, but also kind of a satirical commentary on the community. And I'm excited for people to see it. And I hope that if you're listening, you mark that date on your calendar, Thursday, October 10th, 8 p.m., and you can get tickets on Monday, September 23rd. Okay, let's go to commercial break. Oh, that's right. We never did get a sponsor, so we have no commercials. There he is.
What are you doing?
What do you mean, what am I doing, Shane? I'm giving the listeners what they deserve, which is one final episode of the season. But we have no guests lined up, so it's just me and you, pal.
No guest. You're really falling off.
Well, Elle is not responding to my DMs.
What
and
about...
Lisa's busy. Her dad's right there. Should we get Mr. Jim Gallo, Lisa's dad, to talk a little bit about her?
What about...
Okay. Sorry, Jim.
What about...
We'll see who walks in, if anyone
What
walks in.
about...
It's pretty slow today.
Maybe Trip can come on.
Oh, that would be a trip.
Trip.
That would be a trip.
Would
Why don't you talk to Trip
you come on the podcast for a
Shane
minute?
was just about to tell us about his...
Can we have both of you?
Shane was just about to tell us about his night at the Surf Lodge. I think that
Yeah,
you'd be a
I was
good
just telling
person.
him I went to the Surf Lodge, and there you are.
Let me ask.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Was it closing night of the season? That's nice that you got a night off. I worked. Yeah, I was at work. I'm sorry.
I went at 8 o'clock. Chris and Boris picked me up. Boris is our Russian friend.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a
Naturally,
very famous DJ.
Who? Deadmau5?
Fisher.
Never heard of him.
Place
The only
was
famous DJs
rocking.
I know. Rocking.
Rocking.
Were you like some of the older
I was
people there?
And yeah, it was wild.
Really?
I couldn't get a bracelet, right? The three of us are the only people in the entire surf lodge without a bracelet.
Why couldn't you get them?
Because I couldn't find Jama, and by the time I found Jama, it was over.
So you snuck in?
No, they let us in, but we couldn't get in like the good part. Never in my life was I not allowed in the good part.
Oh, like the mosh pit area?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Solo.
All right, so you sit right here, Trip. All right, so we've got... Wow, this is
Okay, Trip,
nice rotation.
name, occupation.
Wow, right into the fucking
Right into
flow
it.
of
It's going to
Welcome
be
Sag
quick.
Harbor.
Welcome to Sagtown Coffee and our Next in Line podcast. So we're just winging it. It is our 14th episode.
It will be, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know now. At this point, we might have multiple episodes for
So
the season.
this
now,
thing
this is our
started out as
Tumbleweed
just a
Tuesday
little
episode.
project, and they're actually coming out pretty good. They're really well received. Everybody seems to like what we're doing. And
love it.
normally we book guests on here, but Sam dropped the ball. And
Yeah.
I didn't really... He said
well,
he
no.
mentioned it to me. I don't really
Well-
remember, but he set it up, and he said, let's see who comes in. And bang, here comes Trip.
I
which
love it.
is a fantastic guest on
I love it. No,
So we've been
Trip,
trying to
tell us
get you
what
since the very beginning. And you
First,
cut
tell
your
us
hair.
your full name and occupation. Name, occupation.
well, hi guys. It's a pleasure to be here at Sagtown. I come here pretty frequently. My name is Tripoli Patterson. I'm the owner and founder of the Tripoli Gallery of Contemporary Art, now located in Waynescott, New York. Me and Angelbert, the artist whose exhibition opened last Saturday, August 30th, or August 31st actually, is here. We're grabbing lunch at American Hotel. Wanted to
Nice.
stop in here and have a coffee first.
Okay, great.
And yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be talking to you.
Thank you.
And it's a pleasure to be a part of developing an emerging town of Sag Harbor. You know, I was born here, so it's exciting to see the town grow. It's exciting to see establishments be born and then maintain the values of all those establishments, where the heart of those establishments are located in businesses. And yeah, you're bringing a lot to the table as well by having a coffee shop in Sag Harbor and maintaining,
Right.
a presence here.
Right. It's like a third. What do we call that? The
The third place.
third
people
place.
have
Like
their
everybody has
work.
homework, and then this has become a third place for a lot of people.
Yeah,
where they
100%,
meet,
100%.
meetings. Sometimes they do computer work. But can you quickly tell us how you got into the art world?
Well, it's interesting.
Sort of
timing.
family business, sort of.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, my father was a pre-Columbian art dealer. My grandmother was a painter. My younger brother's an artist. My younger sister's an artist. But coincidentally enough, and I am in love with the universe and how timing continues to set things up. The fact that I'm with Angelbert right now is a very relevant thing because he was in the first exhibition I curated.
Right.
And he might have been one of the reasons I'm an art dealer.
No kidding.
Yeah, because
Well, how
he sort of found me or picked me out. I was 18 years old. I was with Spencer, maybe James Cruikshank, Max Price, I think, was with us. We were coming back from skateboarding in New
Right.
York City, and us Hamptons kids would venture into the city on the Long Island Railroad and come back. On one of these times back, this character walked past us, sort of saw us all together. We were doing a little meeting thing of some sort. And he's like, "Who are you guys?" And kind of pointed us out. And I looked up and I'm like, "Who the fuck are you?" Excuse my language. He's this character with Texan Houston cowboy boots, hair like mine or like my father's, a leather suit. I think he had leather pants on. A character that you
rock and rolling.
yeah, you
kind
pull
of.
out of a book, and I'm like, "Who are you?" And like, "Where are you going?" Like, "We're going back home, but where are you going?" Like,
Right,
what character? And he's
right.
like, "I'm on my way to the Warhol Estate," and I'm like, "The Warhol Estate?" I was like, "That's one of my favorite places to surf. Like, what are you doing there?" And Angelbert was in his 20s at this point. He's about 10 years older than me, so he's probably early 20s. I might have been under 18 even. And I was like, I surf in front of there all the time. He's like, "No way, one of my best friends. I just came back from hanging out with Danny Fuller." And I was like, "Danny Fuller? That's one of my homies from the North Shore that I've known since I was 14. And blah, blah, blah. The conversation kind of started from there. And then, 2 years later, after a surf professional surf venture to Australia, where I was paid by this, energy drink company to do the World Qualifying Series events in Australia.
Right.
The
I just have to
Merriweather-
mention really quick, Trip is just about probably the best surfer to ever come out in this generation in New York.
Thank
and
you
he's
so
famous
much.
for it. And
Thank you so
yeah,
much.
Trip is an incredible surfer.
Yeah, and I basically went down to Australia to, try my hands, try to qualify for the world tour, the WQS, the World
Right.
Qualifying Series. And it was a big escapade to get down there, from getting my tickets to getting, where I'm going to stay, how do I get to the event. First event, I'm not in a seated round, 20 minutes, waves are knee-high in Australia. First heat, I get knocked out. I'm like, okay, there's another event next week. Next event, similar scenario. And I was like, maybe my mind triggered back to meeting this artist on the train. Maybe my mind triggered to, my friendship with Lola Schnabel, who was a great painter. And, maybe it triggered my mind to my father, who used to deal art. Maybe it triggered my mind to not wanting to just be a contestant in this larger event, that if I lose, I'm out.
Right.
And
then what do you have?
And then what do you have? Maybe it triggered my mind to be like, you know what? I want to be the contest, where the whole contest is mine.
Right.
So whatever talent wins
I
or
love that.
lose,
I love that,
it doesn't
like,
matter.
concept.
This is my event. So I think the gallery kind of is in a sense that.
It is that, but with artists.
With artists. And then it also protects my love for surfing, where like when I go surfing, it's
Right.
not like I'm being judged.
Right.
I'm creating lines and I'm expressing myself
Right.
and I'm detaching
and
from
it's
land.
not your job.
And it's not my job.
So
It's not-
that-
there's no pressure for economic things.
I went through that with the surf camp when I only had the surf camp, and I was in the water all day, and then the camp, and then privates. It was like, and then the waves would be good, and I'd be like, it was the last thing I wanted to do was go back in the water.
Which is crazy because you love surfing so much.
Love it so much.
Yeah.
And then it's like, because then it was my job. And then it would take like a month or two after, like I'd be like, I don't, like how
To
the waves.
love
I was
surfing
like,
again.
I don't care. I'm not going to the beach.
Not only was it
So
your
that
job,
was a drag.
but it was
Yeah,
more so
exactly.
it was your business. I think there's a
Right.
difference, like if you were
Yeah.
just being paid to show up and compete in surfing tournaments, you might not consider it a job. But you created a business model around it, so you had all the pressure
Yeah,
and
that
stress
too.
of the
But
business.
pro surfing
clients
is
and
much like that. It's
delivering
even
this
worse
or
because
that,
it's on you when you lose, and you're like,
Totally. And then you criticize yourself.
and you
Right.
spend all your money
yeah.
that you're not getting paid to do it. It's coming out of pocket half the time.
Yeah, I didn't get to Australia because I had this great sponsorship
Right.
deal. I
Right.
was like, I found someone with a board bag in the airport. I'm like, are you going to the event? He's like, yeah, like a similar tier
Yeah.
professional, And so we like carpooled to like this garage on the beach, and like,
Yeah.
for a 20-minute heat,
Yeah.
knee-high 20-minute heat in Australia. That
And get knocked out.
the judges don't know me. I'm like, hey, can we like meet first and you learn about my story a little
Right.
bit? They're like, we don't care. Do fucking 2 turns and fucking do them good. And
Right.
yeah.
Okay, so back to the artist here now.
Angelbert Metoyer.
Yeah. So where is he from? From New York?
He was born in New Orleans.
Okay.
Grew up in Houston, Texas.
So that's a French name from New Orleans, right? From the French Quarter, maybe?
Yeah,
that
from
kind of
the,
that background in that area?
Louisiana, the
yeah,
bayous.
from the Creole. I think there's a Creole heritage to his family. His family has a very deep, long lineage. I was just looking at his exhibition this morning with John Alexander, who's an incredible painter, also from Houston, Texas. Has a studio.
And what style art is...
It's very it's very
Abstract?
influenced by mythology.
Okay.
It's very influenced by storytelling, but it's also influenced by human nature, and a lot of times I see him being a conduit to kind of pass stories. Like he was very responsive to these pre-Columbian pieces from my father's collection, and there's a lot of he's kind of tapping into histories that are before and after us.
Wow. Cool.
And he's really committed, and a lot of the works in this show were completed during a residency he did in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which is cool because, and then he kind of brought me to Winston-Salem. My mother was born in Durham, North Carolina. We curated the first part of this exhibition was curated in a United States bankruptcy courthouse in Winston-Salem.
Like an abandoned one?
Well, one that's being repurposed and
Into
used,
a gallery?
Well, used as Muse Winston-Salem, which is sort of a government museum arts foundation. But we were the first one to curate a proper exhibition in that space.
Whoa. Very cool.
Yeah, and it's about, for me, it's about letting art move you physically and emotionally, like it's moving all of us to kind of a new audience of work in Winston-Salem, but then doing it to come back to the Hamptons, back to our home base. There's a huge history of Black Mountain College in Winston-Salem, where William de Kooning went to school, where Elaine de Kooning went to school, where Robert Rauschenberg went to school, and they sort of studied in the early parts of their careers to make their way to the Hamptons, where they later resided and were able to kind of be celebrated. Now it's almost like we're doing it in reverse, because I was born here in Sag Harbor. Yeah. I'm going back to Winston-Salem to kind of not forget and also spread art and spread what we're doing, our story, not just as an artist, but also as an art dealer, like going back to Winston-Salem and setting examples for audiences that aren't always given the opportunity to see art and be invited into art galleries and art spaces. But again, letting them also see the artist and see his commitment and him being there for 40 days in Winston, creating these works. The residency was right outside of a, police jailhouse. So there was a lot of different social elements that were involved in this exhibition.
When was that?
That was in May.
This past May.
It's really interesting to watch you, because I know you, Trip, forever, since you were a little kid.
I did you gave me opportunity to do some of those early shows.
Yeah, I had a furniture store, and we emptied it out, and Trip did one of his first shows. I emptied out this barn I had for furniture, and we put all the furniture into a tent.
No way.
Outside
tent, and then we put up this really cool show. That was with
Herbie Fletcher, Sven Hokinson, and Matisse Patterson, my younger sister.
It was incredible. What a party
Danny
we
Glover
had.
pulled up.
That was so good. That was a wild night. But it's really, knowing you for so long and watching you speak about art and your wealth of knowledge is really impressive. You know what I mean? I really see you light up, and you're very articulate about it, and I really think that that you've hit your path and you're on exact trajectory is the way you're supposed to.
Thank you.
And it keeps getting, like, you had a little gallery on Job's Lane, not little, but you had a gallery on Job's Lane there, and now you have
1,200 square feet.
1,200 square feet. Now you have this big
8-foot ceilings or 7-foot ceilings.
Yeah, now you have, which was cool. That was a cool spot, that little art gallery you had there. But now
it served an important purpose.
At the time, it was right. But now this gallery you have in Wainscott, like, have you been?
I have not.
So it's big. I mean, it has 30-foot
Where is
plus
it exactly?
ceilings. It's like is it a barn? It's not
It's
a barn.
warehouse.
A warehouse,
basically.
yeah.
Radiant cement heated floors, and we've just kind of built it out over the last 5 years.
So you walk in there, and it's like being in a huge warehouse. I mean, literally 30, 40-foot ceilings, and then he built these walls, which he moves around for each show.
Yep.
And he has residencies in there.
Yep.
People come in and they paint and then have the show. It's
That's
It's
amazing.
really
so
incredible.
much.
And
Yeah.
he gives
I gotta check it
opportunities
out.
from the first-time artists, first shows, to the top elite, what you're doing now, which is really pretty
Remarkable.
cool, because
Yeah,
he's like
really
across the
inspiring,
whole
too.
spectrum.
Well,
Very
I have
cool.
to
And
give
I
a lot
think-
of thanks to you, Shane, because you were one of the same way that you're saying that I'm giving opportunities. You were one of the figures in my life who
Wow.
gave me an opportunity.
Dude, thank you so much. I'm
So-
getting chills hearing
No,
that
I mean
from
it
you.
from the
Thank
bottom
you.
of my heart. You were.
Wow.
It was in your space.
Yeah, that's
it was
really
in your
nice.
Space,
What a
which
way
is-
to end this season.
Which is now Topping Rose Hotel. It was in that space that I sold my first work of art to Larry Gagosian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that brought me to having a connection with my godmother, Lisa de Kooning, because I was like, wait a second, he's managing my godmother's estate. Like, I got to reach out to her, and that led me to opening.
Right.
So they're all very intricate moments, and I don't forget, and I'm very appreciative, and I'll always remember.
Oh, thanks, Trip. So what I also want to ask about so maybe somebody who's listening, like, there is an incredible amount of very famous artists who ended up living here on the East End.
I just saw George Condo at Red Horse Market.
So From my understanding, it's because of the light.
Yeah,
Does that
that's a
have
big
something
part.
to do with it?
Sure.
Right? Because
And
I hear
think
that
it's
keeps
beautiful. We see the light. We see the golden light.
Right, because but they say like in springs and something, there's some
Yeah.
magical light that happens that
100%.
these artists want to capture.
Yeah, 100%.
And then I guess the proximity to the city, right?
I think there's a lot of elements, and I think the light's an amazing one to kind of zoom in on because, of course, why not? Light is how we see, and light's one of the big elements that artists all have to deal with. You
Right.
know? And I think there's a scientific thing about water being on both sides.
Right.
And, like 100%. I think there's a lot of elements. So, and I think there's a
Reflection and
quietness that exists out here. And I think there's an isolation that exists out here. Again, it wouldn't be this place if New York wasn't 2 hours away.
Right.
So we have to kind of be conscious of that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm very intrigued in maintaining that and maintaining the magic that exists out here.
Do you ever do any artwork yourself? I mean, do you consider yourself an artist, or you're on the other end?
No, I'm a proud art dealer. I think I express myself, and when I'm surfing, that's something that
Sure.
I hold sacred, and that's something that no one's telling me the lines to make.
Yeah.
Besides nature and the line and the
Right.
waves and what's in front of me. So no, I don't make art, and I'm really excited about emphasizing and bringing the role of a gallerist to light.
Right.
Kind of having that role be celebrated as much as it's criticized. I think our position is very important as we kind of work with these artists and let these artists' work stay sacred and not be made for money's sake. I'm kind of the buffer in between that ugly world and the
because
world.
let's face it, like an artist has that certain kind of mind, right? And then you need the other guy who's the business mind of it, and how can we monetize
And
this,
make it
and somebody can support
Monetize
themselves
and protect,
and
totally.
protect,
and share with
share,
audiences.
yeah.
I'm in the same boat right
Exactly,
now with
and
the
share
film
with
because film festivals give filmmakers an opportunity to share their work with audiences. And then it's also a marketplace for people to come and buy those films and give them viability.
It's the same
But
thing.
there's more
Yours is a
people-
moving picture, right?
Correct,
That's why they
but,
call it
but
that.
we're artists,
storytelling.
and you need every single piece of that puzzle,
Yeah, and you don't just want the talent involved in these movies. You don't just want the people that are buying the movie to see them.
No.
We want everyone. We want people that are graduating high school, kids that are in daycare centers of all cultures, of all ages, of all privileges. We want to make art accessible to everybody.
Right, and art that
what I mean?
resonates with everybody.
High quality art accessible
Exactly.
to everybody.
Yeah.
And
And-
it goes to the collections at one point too, but
Right,
this show
museums
is
and
not
so
just
on.
exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And if I may add, because I can sort of relate, much like Shane gave you an opportunity early on, you gave me an opportunity too. I mean, you were very, very generous, allowing me to film multiple scenes for this film here, and extremely supportive. So maybe that's kind of the common thread. That's your
awesome.
role in
that's
society,
cool.
and who knew
To help people.
to help
Who would
people, and
know?
to give
Totally.
younger generations an opportunity to
Do you know what Sam's
realize
doing about his film?
their dreams.
No,
So he's got
I
a film
need to
going
learn.
into the film festival.
Yeah, next month, October
Next
10th,
month,
it premieres.
he's got
8
this
o'clock,
thing
Guildhall.
sealed up, done.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
It's a comedy.
Well, it's cool because I was actually just in. I was just meeting with Charlie Rosen in Southampton, and he gave me a tour of the new Southampton theater that they bought, and he said they're going to be one of the head.
Yeah, venues.
Are they
yeah.
going to? They're
one of the
kind of
head
going to do
venues.
what
They're
we
gonna
did
be
here in Sag
involved.
Harbor,
Yeah,
right?
And he was. It was very great meeting him and talking to him because his heart's involved. He grew up in Southampton. He's gonna, kind of protect. Not just an exclusive area, like he's not making this exclusive. He's making this movie theater for the town, for the youth, for the kids, for a space where everyone can go to and kind of keep on creating magical memories. So it's all tied
Kudos to
together.
him.
And
Yeah,
I
it
think
is.
that's what we're collectively doing. Even this podcast, it's bringing us all together because
100%
building the
the
sense of community.
Right.
and push forward in a good way.
Yeah. And what's cool about this conversation is I've seen you in here so many times over the years, and I didn't know all of this about you. And I think that's kind of the greatest gift this podcast can give to the community is for other people to learn about one another. And
Learn
now
more
when
of the
people
story.
listen to this and see you, maybe there's something to connect with you or relate to, or maybe they're interested in coming to check out the gallery and buy a piece of art. I mean, it's
And on that
Amazing.
note, how many shows do you do a year?
It's 6 to 8.
6 to 8. Great. So it's
But in
every
the-
other month, roughly.
Yeah,
maybe
it's
you
usually
give
every
you give-
month in the summer. Then I have the Thanksgiving Collective. This year it's going to be the 20th annual Thanksgiving Collective.
Right,
That'll
that's
be
a
up
big deal for
3
you.
months.
Right.
Yep.
And then you bring multiple people together for that?
Yeah, I'm still kind of conceiving that
Now-
exhibition, but it's basically celebrating the 20 years. So I think there might be a lot of artists in it this year.
It's like an art fair, would you say, or
Not
no?
an art fair,
No,
but
but-
reaching out to all the artists I've worked with in the past and kind of
And it's just
inviting
a
everybody.
big show with everybody, like
Everybody's
anybody who
art.
Trip invites. It's like a big open, so you'll have all kinds of different styles
Yep.
art there to buy.
Yep, different ages, different styles.
Different all
Exactly.
mediums,
All
everything.
mediums, yeah,
Very cool.
definitely.
I look forward to that.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun one.
And-
And yeah, everyone listening to this, make sure to check out Speaking in Tongues, a solo exhibition by Angelbert Metoyer, our 4th solo show together since 2005.
Wow. And how long is that up for?
It's up until the 30th of September.
Okay, good.
And
So we got
is
the whole
it
month.
7 days a week, or
We're open every day, 10 to 6, closed on Tuesday.
every day
Wow.
except Tuesday, 10 to 6,
And
Wow.
then Sunday, 12 to 5.
Sunday, 12 to 5.
Cool.
Awesome trip.
Fantastic.
And at Tripoli Gallery is my Instagram.
At Tripoli Gallery. Do you have a website?
Yes, tripoligallery.com.
Okay.
Check it out.
So
Thank
we'll
you
check
so
it out.
much,
Thanks,
gentlemen.
Trip.
This
That was
was really fun.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Good.
What a great way to end this podcast.
Yeah.
For the time
you're
being.
the closer.
You're the closer.
You're the closer. Thanks,
You're the
Trip.
closer.
Great seeing you last
Okay.
night, too.
Yeah, that was fun.
Thank you. Oh yeah, you barely talked about last
That's
night.
all right.
Any
That was a starting point.
any
That was
gossip
better
from
sitting
last
down.
night? Anything you want to
was a
share about your
rage-
relationship with
raging-
Savannah?
Aren't
Didn't
we
you
a guys
guys used to
surfer?
date in high
Yeah,
school?
what
I
do
mean,
you
there's
mean?
so much more we could talk about. I mean,
Fisher from
you know,
Bali
if we want to
days.
really
Really?
do a
Yeah.
deep dive.
You grew up in Bali, right?
Yeah.
For a long time?
Yep.
No kidding.
94.
Now I'm saying no kidding.
96 and
Jesus.
97.
Yeah.
Look
But
who's
yeah,
here,
that was
Michael
Paul Fisher
Gluckman.
from
Michael
Australia.
Gluckman, still
And he turned
digesting that
turned the roof
chicken
down, burnt the
sandwich we
roof
had
down
a
or
few
whatever
weeks
the
ago.
saying. I'm gonna run and
All
get-
right.
All right, thanks, Trip.
All right. Thanks for stopping by. See you
Thanks
later.
for thanks for
Okay,
stopping by. What
Take care.
a coincidence that he would
See,
stop
look,
by.
you
and
didn't wanna do
say
this.
all these nice things about you. Wow,
See, you didn't
what
want to do
a
this.
coincidence.
You didn't want to do this,
What are
and
the
you
odds?
just want to say I'm
what are
road
the odds?
raging.
What are the odds on the last day you'd have Trip come in and speak so highly of you,
That was
Shane?
pretty good.
One could
Pretty
only
good.
guess that
What's
you
up,
had this
Buckman?
whole thing staged.
Today's the last day of summer.
No, it's technically not the last day of summer. We've got a few more weeks. But
Cluckman,
it's
jump on here. We'll welcome Michael Gluckman back of Cluckman's, but
Yes,
we're gonna
Michael.
ask how his summer went. You
We saw
how
you
was
6
opening
months
of
It was
the
a very good summer. Yeah, it's great, and we're so happy to be here. Privileged.
And then how's it going over there?
Yeah, it's good. Got a little slow today, but that's
Every time
standard.
I've been going in there, it's been humming
Yeah,
along.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
pretty
Got a lot-
busy,
a
a
lot of
little
good kids
chaos.
working there.
We got computers going down.
yeah,
like
there's
this-
always something, right?
Always some kind
It's
of.
a tough grind. This grind.
But,
I've been
but
enjoying
you're in
that
there. You're in there
post-workout
working.
Yeah, right, yeah, family
I see
business
you there
and-
every day, and
Yeah,
then you got your
yeah.
hat
Guys,
on.
you
You're
Yeah,
like,
food's
over
good there.
each other.
Food's
Oh my
good.
God.
Me a lot of smash burgers, a lot of onion rings, a lot of French fries.
I went in
Yeah,
and
putting
had
putting
the
some pounds on.
I had the classic chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
It had bacon and
Bacon and
avocado, and then I
Swiss
got
cheese.
the flash fried broccoli.
Broccoli, yeah, a little vegetable, a little greens.
Yeah, it
there.
was good.
Yeah, it was good, right?
Yeah.
It is good.
And my kid, I believe, went yesterday. He came for a $40 payout, and I said,
They spent-
"Why 40?" He said, "Well, I'm going to Cluckman's." I said, "All right, here's the 40."
He must have got a shake.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, everybody's happy with it, and we're going to continue to be open all year round.
Good.
Nice.
And, yeah, we're going to do some chicken wings next week.
Chicken
Oh,
wings?
can't
Yeah,
wait for
chicken
that.
wings.
Well,
and
that
fried
was what
chicken.
he wanted.
I did.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always
Right.
want chicken wings.
Yeah, I love chicken wings.
All right.
Yeah, so we're going to add more chicken chili.
Cool.
Oh, it is a chicken joint.
Yeah, it's a chicken joint. So
Chicken
yeah.
chili. I never
chicken
had
chili.
that.
Well, it's like Cinderella has that turkey chili, which is so good.
Like ground chicken.
Yeah, right. So the same thing. I love the turkey chili at Cinderella.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
That's my favorite. So I'm gonna copy that with chicken.
You gotta go.
Yep.
I gotta run, so
All
we
right.
gotta wrap
I saw,
this
I saw a
up.
picture of you. So you saw one nice photo of you in a jacket.
Oh, and social life.
Yeah, well,
magazine.
yeah, well,
Thank you
really
so much.
nice.
Thank
Look,
you
what a
very
good-looking
much,
man you are.
Oh, please.
Yeah, take the
Please.
glasses off and clean them up.
Yep.
Yeah, really, you look great.
Thank you, Michael. You look great.
And like you said, that's funny. That's why I just used the word privilege, because you said the nicest things when you were a little right up there. You said the nicest things about working in
Sagtown.
Sag Harbor and
I know.
Sagtown
I
and
know.
working at
You
Tuto.
did?
And
God forbid
Yeah,
Shane
no,
acknowledged
it
it.
was-
Yeah,
it was
basically,
really-
yeah,
what
it
he
was
said
supposed to be a
was really
profile
sweet.
on me, and it became about Sagtown.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, he
I
just,
have to
yeah.
read it.
He just
He did?
captures the community feeling here and all
Yeah,
that.
well,
Yeah,
that's
it's
what
really-
they asked me about.
It was really well said. And what you said about Tuto was nice. Like privileged to work with the fine people, and it's a good operation. I read the whole
you.
thing.
Thank you,
A lot of time I
Michael.
skip over it. The picture
appreciate it.
attracted me, and then I said, "Let me see what this guy says."
Well, I have to read it.
Well,
really-
there's an issue of it right there. If you want.
You want me to read it on air?
Yeah, let's
Yes,
do it.
Okay, I'm going to do that.
All right.
Grab it, Michael.
Before we get there, Shane, anything you want to say in closing? I can tell you what page it's on. Hold on.
No, I just want to thank everybody for listening, and we will see what the future will bring with Next in Line. We'll see if Sam wants to continue doing it.
I definitely want to
because
continue. I
have
do need a
to-
break, and as you know, I need to put all of
I
my
have to just
creative
acknowledge how much
focus.
work actually goes in to making a podcast.
Oh,
I
I'm sure.
thought it was
Editing
just-
and stuff?
I just thought it was like we're going to talk and then
Well,
he
for
press
you
a
it
couple
was. Yeah,
buttons.
it was for
Yeah.
you.
But
Literally,
you,
Press
it was
record.
for you.
you really made it something, and it sounds really great
I
when you
appreciate
listen
that.
to it.
I
It's very
appreciate that.
professional, and
Thank you.
and I can't believe how hard you do work on it, and I am very grateful for it.
Likewise, Shane. I'm grateful to have
So
you.
I'm very
as
impressed by
my
it as well.
co-host. Thank
It sounds
you.
good, right?
Yeah, I think Gavin Manu said he heard when you had Lila on. Gavin Manu, who owns the Southampton Press papers, he's an avid listener to your
Really?
podcast. Yeah, and
Wow.
he
He
mentioned
hasn't
that.
reached out. You would
No.
think he'd reach out to do some sort of
So maybe-
piece on us.
Right.
Yeah, no, he listens.
Southampton
yeah.
Press. Okay, I'll
Yeah,
contact him.
Gavin Manu.
Yeah, we can get him on there.
Gavin Manu.
Gavin's
we have a lot of people lined up for the fall season, but I'm
See, the
taking
fall
vacation
we have more
and then
time,
I've got to
right?
finish
'Cause-
it.
Yeah, right.
But what we've learned is we pre-recorded a lot of stuff, and then we were going to release them weekly in the summer.
Which
But
we did, but
we
then we
did,
reached
but
a
it was
point
a lot
where
of like
some
not
of the
relevant
episodes were
to
like a
what's
little
going
dated.
on.
You know, talking about whether it was the
You need to
the
do it on a
earthquake
Monday or
the
Tuesday, and then it's
Yeah.
got to be released that week.
real time.
Yeah,
real
right.
time,
Well, 'cause
current
we're
events.
talking about current events,
and,
right.
Well, he refused to talk about current events. I mean, the day of the
Why?
Justin Timberlake arrest, I raced over here to do like a real time reaction, and this guy, he wouldn't
I didn't want
comment.
to throw Justin on the
No,
bus.
I know. Poor
Yeah,
Justin
but
Timberlake.
we're
Come
like
on.
we're
I
journalists, Shane. We've got to act like journalists. We're reporting. We're sharing the
right.
news. with the
You're not
community.
judging. You're just reporting.
Exactly.
Right.
All right.
All
On
right.
that note, Shane, why don't you read
All right, Michael.
my
thanks
response
very
to this
much. How's that?
question?
You want a free refill?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Savannah, can you give Gluckman a free refill?
Savannah, can I have a coffee to begin
Okay,
with?
Sam Pizzulo, Man About Town.
Great
on
pronunciation.
Page 130 of the Social Life September 2024 issue. Okay.
Just read the question about Sagtown, not the whole thing.
Savannah, you want to read? Tell us how you are creating a sense of community at Sagtown. I'm not much creating
Okay,
a
you
sense
can't
of
even
community.
read.
I can't.
You read it. It's fine. I'll read it. Thank you. So the question was, and this was asked
have
by
my glasses
Devorah
on.
Rose. Devorah Rose, who we interviewed one day. Well, I interviewed. Shane never showed up, and then I had regrettably forgotten to insert the memory card, so the entire episode was lost. She called me one day about 2 months ago and said, hey, can you answer these questions for me in 30 minutes? We're going to print. So I had to stop my workout and just sit down and focus. And one of the questions was, tell us how you are creating a sense of community at Sagtown. And my response was, I'm not so much creating a sense of community as much as I am capturing it. It's been there all along, and I've been a part of it for years. Sagtown is a special place that becomes a home away from home for most. The staff and patrons are a diverse cast of interesting and entertaining characters led by Shane, the owner. Through social media and our podcast, Next in Line, we've been able to shine a light on the people who make Sagtown so much more than just a local coffee shop. The greatest reward is hearing that through a photo or a podcast episode, someone was able to connect with another customer and find common ground that they wouldn't have otherwise. In that sense, we are strengthening the sense of community for sure.
Well done, Sam. Well done.
Yep.